Hi, it's Marcy. I'm back at All Star Liquors and talking to you about some of the new stuff that we've brought in. And this time I want to focus on two of the things that we've brought in that happen to fall into pretty much one of the hottest segments of liquor right now, which is the American whiskey category. I'm really excited that we got to bring these in. Diageo, who many of you know, as far as like being the owner of like Crown Royal, Captain Morgan, a lot of big brand names, owns and operates the George Dickel Distillery in Tennessee. What they don't own is an operating bourbon distillery. They do, however, own Bulleit Bourbon, but it's kind of an open secret that Bulleit is produced at the Four Roses Distillery, and that their Bulleit Rye is sourced from MGP in Indiana. What they do own also is a bunch of mothball distilleries that are extremely famous and have a special place in the history of American whiskey. Distilleries like Stitzel Weller, which many of you know from Pappy Van Winkle days, and the Burnham Distillery. So what Diageo did is they came up with this project called the Orphan Barrel Project, and they basically took barrels of whiskey from these now mothball distilleries and they bottled them. And it's created some very interesting whiskeys and some very interesting opportunities for whiskey buyers. There's 3 of them that they plan on releasing this year. 2 of them have been released, which is what we're going to talk about today, and 1 of them should be coming out in the next month or 2. So the one that's going to be coming out is called Rhetoric. It's a 19-year-old whiskey. The 2 that have been released are the Old Blowhard and also the Barterhouse whiskey. Now the story about these is all 3 of them have a similar mash bill, which is 86% corn, 6% rye, and 8% barley. And for those of you whiskey geeks out there, you will recognize that this is the Burnham Distillery's mash bill for their whiskeys, which isn't surprising because both of these 2 are sourced from whiskeys from the Burnham Distillery. Some of them, one of the older distilleries, one of them, one of their newer distilleries. The Barterhouse, which I might as well add that I love the packaging on these guys. I think that they gave them kind of a retro, different feel to them, and definitely on the shelf they stand out. But the Barterhouse is a 20-year-old bourbon, and the great thing about it is that it kind of lacks that oak intensity. And I say that in a great way because it does lack oak intensity, especially for the amount of years that it's been aged. What you do get is these great notes of like vanilla and creme brulee and peach cobbler that come through, and it's very creamy and soothingly sweet and easy to drink, neat or on ice. You could even mix this if you wanted to, but that's completely up to you because as I've learned from a few master distillers, it's their job to make the whiskey. What you do with it after you buy the bottle is completely up to you. It's definitely soft and mellow on the finish, and kind of a unique whiskey into itself. The Old Blowhard, which again, great packaging, great bottle, is a 26-year-old one that is roughly around 45% or a little over 90 proof. I should mention, I guess, that the Barterhouse is also around that. But the Old Blowhard, out of the 3, it definitely has the most oak intensity to it. It's very robust. You get leather and tobacco and roasted nuts and those kind of flavors that come through on it. There is some vanilla. There's definitely those hints of sweetness that are trying to come through. But I will say the oak definitely overpowers it. I got the opportunity to try both of these recently when I was in Las Vegas for the Universal Whiskey Experience, and to hear a little bit more about them. Trying both of them, it was very interesting because I think that they really do highlight what makes American whiskey great. They're sweet and they've got character to them. They're definitely easy to drink. They pack a punch. I will say, being in a room with a bunch of like whiskey drinkers, like Scotch drinkers, they definitely, if you're a big Scotch drinker, they definitely found that they're a little bit too much on the sweet side for them. The Old Blowhard being the favorite in the group because of the fact that the proof and the oakiness definitely cut through some of that sweetness. I think in general, the Barterhouse is going to be more of a favorite with like the general population. The other great thing about this, and surprisingly considering who makes these whiskeys, where they got them from, and their age, is that Barterhouse is going to go for around $75 a bottle and Old Blowhard $150. For those of you who are into whiskeys, you'll recognize the fact that for a 20-year and a 26-year-old, it's a really great value. Neither of these are made in very big production. The Barterhouse, Diageo has said that they may produce, again, the Old Blowhard, it's a one-time production and then it's all gone. So if this is something that you're interested in, or the whiskey is something that you like, I would suggest stopping by one of the stores, picking up a bottle. If you happen to, we would love to hear your comments back on them, and to get some photos of you trying them and enjoying them. Anyways, that's what we got in new this week. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.